So I'm filming this right now on the s-cinetone, or am I? Hello everybody, I'm so glad you joined me again. I need to talk to you again about the Sony A6700. I had the camera now for less than 2 weeks, and I think I'm falling more and more in love with it. Let's talk about one of the main reasons I got this Sony A6700, because I wanted a hybrid camera. The reason that I switched from Nikon to Fuji is because I like the smaller form factor of the Fujifilm cameras. I did like the idea of mirrorless. It just makes everything more compact. The lenses for mirrorless cameras also are much smaller. And so after a few years with Fuji, I then realized I don't want to lug all these lenses with me anymore. I still want to go smaller. So I bought the Fuji X100, and then eventually I switched to the X100V. That comes with only one lens attached to the camera, which is a 23mm f2.0, which is a great lens. Don't get me wrong. But after taking some pictures with these Sony cameras, previously the ZV-E10 and now the A6700, I'm gonna eat my words. Fuji cameras are great. They're just a wonderful experience using them. The classical Fujifilm cameras with the dials on the top and the aperture ring and everything are a fantastic user experience. You learn photography when you use these cameras. But the image quality, yes, the colors are great, but the image quality is just not there. Because the Fujifilm sensor is a different pattern from other sensors. It's kind of like more like a it's easy for you to say, a hexagonal pattern on the sensor of pixels, while the other companies all make these sensors with the blue and the red and the green and the blue and the red. They make it kind of, I don't have a clue, look it up. And even the newer Fujifilm cameras still were not as good as I was hoping they could be. And then I started taking some pictures with the ZV-E10, and that was it for me. I was hooked. Like, that little camera, it's not even the proper photo camera because it doesn't have a viewfinder. It's like a film camera, but goodness gracious, these pictures that I took with it, I just can't believe how good they were. One of the negatives of Sony compared to Fuji, though, is the colors of the images. Fuji has fantastic color science, and that's especially true when it comes to auto white balance. The auto white balance on the Fuji camera is fantastic. All of them, even the old ones. You set that to auto white balance and you're done. You don't have to worry about it at all. You're in a room with candles. You're outside. You're in the shade. It's raining. It doesn't matter. It never let me down. The auto white balance on the Sony, however, it's not up to snuff at all. When I got the A6700, when I pre-ordered it, one of the reasons that I was really looking forward to getting this camera in my hands was the upgraded color science on the Sony cameras. And I have to say, it's better. It's still not where I would like it to be, but I'm getting used to it. I believe the Fuji cameras tend to lean towards the magenta, while the Sony cameras are more into the green-yellow field. But I did discover that the Sony camera has something called the s-cinetone, which is a very nice way of filming. It kind of lightens up the black a little bit, and it's a little flat, and it also mutes down the colors a tiny little bit. Some cameras are just way too bright and punchy. This s-cinetone is very mellow and muted. Here's the thing, you don't have to worry about the picture profiles in the Sony cameras. There's like 11 of them. Sony also gives you creative settings, almost like the film simulations that Fuji had. And I didn't like any of the ones that they were on the ZV-10, but there is one on the A6700. It's called NT. And the NT picture profile off and the s-cinetone picture profile on are identical. It doesn't matter. But it's just easier for me. I don't have to worry about picture profiles. I just play around with the creative settings. If I'm outside and it's sunny and I want to take pictures of foliage, I'll turn it to standard. And if I take videos, I'll turn it to NT. It's great. I love it. So that's the first thing that I noticed. Creative setting, or whatever they call it, is amazing. I love it. Sony, you got it. Let's talk about focus for a second. So I was used to taking the camera, focus on something, half press down the shutter, and then take the picture. I was always pre-focusing, and that works really great for static things. But when you take pictures of cats or dogs or whatever, things that move, not ideal. So a couple days ago, I started to take pictures, more photographs, instead of just filming all the time, of my cats. And again, like I always do, halfway press the shutter, make sure the eyes on, and then the cat moves. And then I realized, okay, there's automatic eye tracking of animals. So I set that to animal. And then I pressed the shutter button without worrying about what's in focus or where my focus point is or anything at all. And I got absolutely amazing results. I am blown away. Colors I can fix, focus I can't. Nobody can. Have I been sleeping on the technology? Apparently I have. So the Sony A6700 is a great camera, and I came from having a camera that had the showcase button. You can stop the camera from focusing on your eye, and I like that function. And the A6700 doesn't have that. And I did a little research, and I found that if you turn off auto recognition of eye, you can then put something in front of the camera and it'll be in focus. Let's try that right now. I'm going to push that button that I have allocated to do that. Now, subject recognition in AF is off. I'm still in focus, but now my hand is. Let's try that again. My eye's still here. You see my eyes? My eyes are not in focus anymore. It's this product that I'm holding. So I'm pushing that button again. Sorry, the camera's going to wiggle. And I can hold this in front of you as long as I want. But as long as you see my eyes are going to be in focus. That's all there is to it. Thumbs up. I love that. So we've got the colors nailed down. The focus is not a problem at all. The sound, you know, I love the fact that you can put a microphone on that multi-purpose hot shoe that the Sony camera has. I'm sitting so close to the camera, so it's not a problem to have that microphone installed on the camera. No wires. Look, no wires. So I'm struggling a little bit still with the size of the camera. Coming from a Fuji X100V with a very small pancakey lens that is attached to the camera at all times, I really thought, I don't want another beefy camera. Now, the A6700 is by no means beefy, but it is bigger than the ZV-E10, and it is heavier, especially when you mount the lens on it. I'm filming with the Sony 15mm f1.5. I also own the Sigma 18 to 50mm f2.8. So both lenses that I'm owning are quite big for my standards. I do like the fact that I can just go out of the house with one camera and one lens. The 18 to 50mm is a fantastic lens, so sharp, so wonderful. I love it. It covers everything. It's a constant aperture of f2.8, which that's what I set it at, and I leave it there. Again, unless I do landscapes or architecture, whatever. But I still was missing that small camera factor that I had with the Fuji X100V. So Mama did a bad thing, and she went and bought herself a new lens already, like the third lens. Like I've had the Sony cameras now for what, 3 months, 4 months, and I'm already at 3 lenses. So I got the Sony E20mm f 2.8. Again, I don't want to buy anything that's not at least a 2.8. Ideally 1.8 or 1.4, because I like the blurry background, the background separation. We talked about this. Let me just open that real quick here. I'm going to show you this thing. Okay, don't get stressed because this is actually much smaller. There's this, that's all of it. And this part goes into your camera. So that's it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole lens. I'm thinking, this is fabulous. I'm installing this puppy on there. It's a 20 millimeter, which the Fuji X100V was 23 millimeters. And it was f.20, and this one is 20 millimeters, and it is f2.8 constant aperture. Well, it's not a zoom. Obviously, it's constant aperture. What a fantastic thing. It was 429 Canadian dollars. I ordered it. I couldn't wait for it to come. And I took a couple pictures. And I put it back in the box. Because it's crap. I'm sorry, Sony. It is. I like my aperture large. That sounds more dirty than it's supposed to be. I don't know why people call it bokeh. I never understood why people call it bokeh. It's not bokeh. It's bokeh. There's an H behind it. I don't know if the word is French or Spanish or Japanese. I pronounce it like it's spelled. Bokeh. Anyway, I like bokeh. And that's why I like apertures of f2.8 or bigger. So when I buy a lens that has an aperture of f2.8, like this pancake from Sony, and I cannot use it because it only starts to get sharp at f5.6 or f8, then why did I even bother? I compared with the Sigma 18-50 at about a 20 millimeter range, and the difference was mind-boggling. And I was so bitterly disappointed. I had high hopes, but I know if I have a lens that's not going to give me a minimum of sharpness with this amazing camera that has a autofocus that is just fabulous, and a resolution and the foliage is crisp and clean, and then I have a lens that muddles it all up. It makes absolutely no sense. So that Sigma 18-50 is fabulous. The Sony 15 millimeter is fabulous. But I do still want something that is even more fabulous. So I'm still looking for a lens, and I think I found something, but I'll talk about this in another video. Let's talk about a hot topic. The A6700 gets warm to the touch. It's a fantastic hand warmer in the winter, I assure you. It has never gotten as warm that I can't touch it, but even at 4K 24 frames per second, it does get very warm to the touch. And I think I can live with that. Let's talk about something else that I really like about this camera. The app that comes with the camera. I like it. I didn't like the old app, but I like this Creators app. The Creators app on the phone is fantastic. You may not understand that if you're not an Apple user, but when you take pictures with an iPhone and you put the pictures in your photo app on your computer, it will show you where those pictures were taken. You turn on the map and you see all the pictures you took around the world. And if you traveled a little bit, even if you just travel locally, it tells you which pictures were taken where. I just love that. I like browsing these pictures and see, oh, look, that's what we did. And this is where that was. But that never really worked with other cameras that don't have a GPS locator. And then Bluetooth came around and people were able to connect their cameras to their phones. So that was already available in the Fuji X100V, but it was very spotty. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. Often it would take forever to connect. So I would take a few pictures and then suddenly I realized, oh, there's no GPS location. Damn it. Later I have to go and tag them by hand. And this is quick. You set that up, that connection. As soon as the camera turns on, I get a notification on my phone that we're connected. And as soon as that connection starts, I can now geotag all my pictures. And I love that. There's no pop-up flash on this camera, but I think I can count on one hand how many times I used a flash on the X100V. I tell you, I am still sad that I don't have the X100V anymore. I repeat, it was a great camera, but this camera here is a whole different level. I am fascinated with the options that this thing gives you. It is ugly. It's an ugly camera. all of the Sony cameras are ugly. But it doesn't matter, it's a tool. And it opened up the door again. It brought back that desire to be creative, to take more pictures. Yes, filming is great and I love my YouTube channel, but photography had been on the back burner a little bit for me in the last little while. And maybe it was because there were so many misses in the autofocus. And now here there's this hybrid camera that takes fantastic picture, has a great viewfinder. I was worried about that viewfinder, by the way. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Dim viewfinder, what the hell are you talking about? It's a great viewfinder. Quit it. And the screen is good too. Yes, it's not as great as some of the other screens I've used in the past, a few hundred dots less, but I've nothing to complain about in this regard. It's great. It's a true hybrid camera. It gives you the possibility to take fantastic video and fantastic images. That's what you want from a hybrid camera. So far, and again, I haven't even had it for 2 weeks. So far, I am absolutely intrigued with this camera system. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave you with a few impressions of some video clips that I've taken over the last few days, and I hope I will take many, many more. And I also hope that I will see you again in my next video. Bye!
Hey. Big old loser.
There's no bonuses on the salary.
Oh.